Have you ever wondered if there could be too much of a good thing, even when it comes to motivation? Today we delve into the concept of the pursuit of motivation, its allure, and its potential pitfalls. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to strive for more, to be more, to do more. And motivation, it seems, is the fuel that drives this relentless machinery. But what happens when this pursuit becomes a chase, an obsession? There's a common belief that more motivation always equals more success. But is that really the case? Can an excess of anything, even something as seemingly positive as motivation, become harmful? We often overlook the fact that motivation, like everything else in life, needs balance. It's not just about having more of it, but about having it in the right measure. It seems counterintuitive, but could too much motivation actually be detrimental to our success? Excessive motivation can lead to an unhealthy obsession with achievement and perfection. While motivation is typically seen as a positive force, driving us towards our goals and aspirations, it can sometimes morph into something less beneficial. Let's delve into the dark side of excessive motivation. Just like overeating, overdrinking, or overworking, an overabundance of motivation can lead to harmful consequences. It can create an unrelenting pressure to perform, leading to stress, exhaustion, and ultimately, burnout. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged and excessive stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. When you're burned out, problems seem insurmountable, everything looks bleak, and it's difficult to muster up the energy to care, let alone do something about your situation. The impact of burnout on mental health is significant. It can lead to feelings of detachment, depression, and anxiety. Physically, it can manifest as frequent illnesses, sleep disturbances, and a host of other health issues. But why does this happen? Why do we push ourselves to the brink of our capabilities and sometimes beyond? Well, it's often tied to societal pressures and expectations. We live in a society that glorifies hustle culture, where being busy is seen as a badge of honor. We're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need to do more, be more, achieve more. This incessant drive for achievement can create unrealistic expectations. It can make us believe that we should be able to handle everything perfectly all the time. But the reality is, we're human. We have limits, we need rest, we need balance. So while motivation is crucial for success, it's important to remember that too much of it can be detrimental. It's like sunlight. A certain amount is beneficial, providing us with warmth and vitamin D. But too much can lead to sunburn or even worse, skin cancer. So it's clear that too much motivation can be a double-edged sword, causing more harm than good. It's about finding the right balance, understanding our limits, and not letting societal pressures dictate our worth. The key to harnessing motivation is not in its abundance, but in its balance. This balance is the golden mean between two types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation stems from within. It's that personal drive that pushes you to learn a new skill, not because you have to, but because you want to. It's the passion that fuels your late-night study sessions or your early morning workouts. It's that inner voice that says, I want to be better. I can be better. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation comes from outside influences. It could be the promise of a reward or the threat of a punishment. It's the trophy at the end of the race, the promotion at the end of the year, or the fear of failing an exam. Neither type of motivation is inherently bad. The problem arises when there's an imbalance. If you're too driven by external rewards, you might lose sight of your core values and personal growth. If you're too reliant on intrinsic motivation, you might overlook practical realities and societal expectations. So, how do you strike the right balance? You start by setting realistic goals, goals that challenge you but don't overwhelm you, goals that align with your personal values, but also take into account societal needs and expectations. But it doesn't stop there. Balanced motivation also requires self-care. It requires recognizing your limits and understanding that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to step back and recharge. In fact, it's essential. Without rest, without balance, Even the most motivated among us can burn out. So the next time you find yourself chasing motivation, remember that it's not a race, but a balancing act. It's about finding that sweet spot between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, between ambition and self-care. Remember, it's not about how much motivation you have, but how effectively you use it. So make sure to schedule some downtime, take a walk, read a book, or even just sit quietly for a few minutes. Your mind and body need time to recharge. Practicing mindfulness is another effective strategy. By staying present and focused on the task at hand, you can avoid becoming overwhelmed by future challenges or past failures. You'll find it easier to maintain a steady level of motivation when you're not constantly worrying about what's next. And lastly, prioritizing self-care is vital. This isn't just about physical health, but mental and emotional health too. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate sleep are important, but so is taking time to nurture your passions and relationships. With these tips in mind, you can harness the power of motivation without falling into the trap of excess. In conclusion, while motivation is a powerful tool, it's essential to avoid its excessive pursuit. We've explored the potential pitfalls of too much motivation and underscored the significance of finding balance. Remember, like a well-tuned instrument, your motivation needs regular calibration. Implement the practical tips we've shared to maintain this harmony. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to our channel for more insights and advice. Remember, balance is the key to success.